Today on Tiny Voices, we celebrate a rare step forward for YouTube and ContentID, something I never thought I'd be saying. Then more today on Tiny Voices. YouTube's ContentID system has been flawed for a very long time. ContentID is the automated tool that YouTube uses to match copyrighted content in your uploads to original copyrighted works submitted to the system by the owners of those works. When copyrighted work is identified on a user's channel, the copyright holder can choose to do a number of things. Most commonly and least drastically, they can choose to monetize your video. Any ad revenue generated by the matched video goes to the claimant instead of the person who uploaded the video featuring the alleged copyrighted work. That's the ideal of how it's supposed to work. The automated system has been rife with abuse since its inception. Fraudulent claimants have made ContentID claims despite not owning the copyrighted work they claim, and the system even occasionally misidentifies audio and video content. Miracle of Sound had his own original creations matched, Angry Joe had interview content matched. It happens to everybody, and it happens with pretty alarming frequency. No matter how small or big a YouTuber you are, it's something that you unfortunately have to be concerned about. Also, being an automated system, it can't differentiate between videos that infringe on copyrights or videos that should be protected by fair use. Worse yet, ContentID places the burden of proof on the video uploader and not the claimant. For instance, if one of my videos, let's say a Twilight Princess video, gets ContentID claimed by Nintendo, they automatically claim monetization rights until I prove that their claim is invalid through a dispute. The initial phase of the dispute process can take up to a month to be resolved, and during that time, Nintendo is generating ad revenue off of my video. Ad revenue that they keep even if I win the dispute. And it's not even that easy to get disputes cleared up. A while back, I had one of my old videos claimed by a Rooster Teeth LLC. I could not get in touch with the claimant, and I couldn't get in touch with Rooster Teeth themselves to find out if they were the ones who actually claimed the video, even though the video featured no Rooster Teeth content, or if it was just somebody impersonating them. During the 30-day dispute process, I never heard back from anybody at Rooster Teeth, nor did I hear back from the claimant, who I am to this day assuming was an impersonator. As soon as I received the message in my inbox saying that my video had been claimed by Rooster Teeth LLC, I immediately initiated a dispute, noting that it was a fraudulent claim. That changed absolutely nothing. Any attempts to get in contact with anyone, including YouTube or Rooster Teeth themselves, the actual company, really didn't make any difference in the dispute process. The dispute process went on for 30 days, during which this Rooster Teeth LLC claimant monetized my video and received ad revenue from it. Because they hadn't responded to the dispute to either accept or deny the dispute went in my favor automatically, and it removed their monetization from my video, but they still got 30 days of ad revenue off of a video that I put up. If they run this scam on enough channels, especially channels larger than mine, it starts to really add up. And there is no downside for this kind of fraudulent abuse of the ContentID system. In fact, the original genesis for Tiny Voices was a short-lived infrequent series of Let's Talk discussion videos I started years back. The first one touched on this exact topic back in 2013 after the multi-channel network terms changed and everyone got a much uglier glance at how ContentID could be open for abuse. Then there was the Where's the Fair Use campaign, which began with a vocal outcry by the Nostalgia Critic in a vlog earlier this year, who passionately argued that YouTube's claim and takedown system trampled all over fair use. And finally, there's Jim Sterling, a well-known critic who puts out a weekly show on YouTube called the Jimquisition, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. He does not monetize his videos with ads, because his Patreon is successful enough that he doesn't have to burden his audience with advertisements. And yet, according to Jim, whenever he covers any kind of Nintendo-related topic, he inevitably gets a ContentID claim from Nintendo for using bits of trailer footage while making his critical arguments. So he developed a little ploy. On this past Monday's Jimquisition episode, Jim eviscerated Nintendo for their philosophy of innovation for the sake of innovation. He talked about how that philosophy produces gimmicks that aren't necessarily fun, and how that philosophy negatively impacted Star Fox Zero. He knew ahead of time that Nintendo would claim the video, so he included gameplay footage of Metal Gear Solid 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Beyond Two Souls, the creators for which all had made ContentID claims on his past Jimquisition episodes, along with audio from Erasure's Chains of Love. Since he knew somebody else would inevitably claim his video and enable ads on it, he forced a number of different claimants to divvy up the revenue and fight for control instead of submitting the entirety of the video's ad revenue to Nintendo, and his plan worked. Now, he didn't force YouTube's hand all by himself, but the timing lines up pretty nicely, and it's the cherry on top of a long history of criticism of the Content ID system. And YouTube did finally budge this week. Their solution to the problem that everyone's been talking about for years is pretty simple, actually. When someone makes a claim against a video, monetization on that video will continue, but the money is held if the claim is disputed. When the dispute is resolved, the held money is paid out to whoever wins the dispute. Now, this doesn't fix the issue of fair use enforcement, but that's a much bigger issue that's more than likely going to take a long time to settle, and it will probably be settled by a court case setting a legal precedent and going further in defining what actually constitutes fair use protection, as right now there's a lot of wiggle room and uncertainty baked into the definition. For now, if a company wants to manually DMCA you, they still can, but this changes the effects of the far-reaching automated Content ID system, and that's a big step forward.